time is now 7 p.m. I'd like to call this Board of Selectmen meeting to order for December 26th. And you will, oh, sorry. Ask you to please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mark Kennedy.
Scott Gardner.
Kevin Cunningham. Item C, to approve meeting minutes from the Board of Selectmen meeting from 12/12/22.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for 12/12/22.
Will recuse myself.
Okay, and I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item D, public comment. Hearing none, there is no old business. We go on to item F. For new business, consider an act on tax refunds as requested by the tax collector totaling $1,246.79. CCAP Auto Lease Ltd. for $1,081.68 and CCAP Auto Lease Ltd. for $165.11.
Make a motion to accept the tax refunds in the amount of $1,246.79.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 2, discuss and act on approving bank accounts by the Plainfield Police for petty cash and asset forfeiture. We've been working with the chief of police and also the attorney about how and the finance director, how the process should be working with asset forfeiture monies. And it was suggested and agreed upon that we do 2 bank accounts. So we bring it forward to you because we are in charge of the finance process of it. So the first one you can read there says a bank account at Eastern for petty cash checks. That'll be a savings account. It allows 6 employees to cash petty cash checks. And this is the dual authorization process. 3 employees from the police department and 3 from the town. A petty cash box is located at the police department and the finance department. Webster Bank is our main bank and is located in London. It's a little bit too far to cash checks. That's why we decided to use Eastern for that. The second bank account was to be for the police asset forfeiture account. The current asset forfeiture account does not use the town's tax ID number, and we'd like to fix that. That's why we're working to make a change. And so that is a checking account with 3 signers on the account, the chief, deputy chief, and the finance director. So we've been working on this for a few months, trying to figure out what's the best way to do this, and that was what we came up with. So we just need your blessings, and if that's okay with you, we would do a motion to approve the bank accounts at Plainfield, for the Plainfield Police for petty cash and asset forfeiture.
So we're looking to use Eastern Savings Bank for both accounts?
Yes. Yep.
I'd make a motion to change the accounts, open new accounts at Eastern Savings Bank for the petty cash and police forfeiture.
Asset forfeiture. Yep.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next one up is to discuss and act on a letter of intent for open position economic development. You have a letter there from Trav Harmon. So I would like to make some comments on this one myself before we get into anything here. So Mr. Harmon has applied for the position for Economic Development Committee. When I first got into office in 2019, he sent a letter to me talking about how he wanted to create an ordinance to prevent certain businesses from going into the town of Plainfield. I also have an issue with Mr. Harmon's comments that he makes on social media. I was going to go back and print some off and show you, but Mr. Harmon deleted them all. Every one of them. There's some other things, I have some character issues too. There was letters that were handed to the town. By the way, every time you sent a letter in to us, to the town of Plainfield, actually, we've talked about it in previous meetings. In the other section, talking about we appreciate the fact that he's looking to do something, but as an example, the issue with, we had a cyber attack, and you wanted to be supportive of the cyber attack. We already have a company that does that, so we actually mentioned that, but while we appreciate it, it's already being handled. He also handed a letter to myself and Mark, was there with me. We read it out loud in front of him because he wanted to do some more work on cyber attack. And again, we replied back that it's being handled by the town company. To which he's made social media comments and also made a comment to someone from the press that we haven't acted on them at all, which is not fair because we did. We told them right up front.
No response.
Yeah, we had. He said no response, which we said right to his face. Thank you, but no thank you. And we have had responses in our meetings. So,
As far as online, on Facebook, you talking about like last week?
no,
Was-
over the years.
Well, last week somebody put out something about the Board of Finance meeting. He made a comment, are we broke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's, I mean, while he's not an officer or an employee, there's still a character you have to uphold to be on boards and commissions, and I don't think that goes and bodes well for being on this particular board. So, I've talked to Trav multiple times. I mean, I went back and I actually looked at all the conversations we've had. We've talked about COVID-19, we've talked about using Zoom, we've talked about other platforms for electronic meetings. We also talked about the OHS, which is the state of Connecticut. It's the Office of Health and Strategy, and Practice, was looking to get a same-day surgery. We've talked about that. I mean, I've had multiple conversations about Atlantic broadband. That was one of his letters, by the way. He wants us to do something about Atlantic broadband pricing, which he said we couldn't. So I just don't see this as a good character fit for that particular board, and so that's why I'm saying right up front, these are the things that went back. Quite a bit of dialogue back and forth. So I'll put it out there, but if anybody else has any other comment. So I've discussed my side of it. Is anybody interested in making a motion? Don't have to do anything, you can say no action. Or you can say yes or no.
Well, based on your recommendation, what you're saying, that he's not a good fit for economic development, I guess I'll make a motion to take no action at this time.
I would
Based
second.
on your recommendation.
I would second that. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Okay, that's okay. All right, so the next one up is item number 4. You have to discuss and act on setting the annual town meeting for the annual audit report. If you know, fortunately in our charter we changed it to no later than the end of February. So I appreciate you have a nice packet to read through. So I'll go through the short of it first. I've looked at the calendar. Our Board of Selectmen meeting is at the 9th. I think we can still get this audit report done that same night, 6 o'clock. But that aside, just so you know, there's some pages that you really want to highlight and take a look at. So it's in the full report and it's on page number 8. So it's set upside down. Okay, so it says financial highlights. I wish you could look at the second bullet. If you're taking a look, the total net position increased by $727,940. So that's a very good increase.
You probably can't answer questions about this, or?
Not really,
No,
but if you have some, let's see what it is.
Well, because on the budget statement itself,
That's this year.
no, from last year, the
Okay.
budget statement itself, the last one,
Yep.
I totaled all the extra revenue,
Mhm.
we were like 1.7 million.
And we still have to pay out things too.
Right,
Yes.
this is what I'm wondering.
Yep.
Because there's a big difference between,
And
That set.
the thing about the last budget sheet
yeah.
is that there is still things that are still
That coming in.
Yeah, from us.
And that was my other question is, perhaps some of these revenues didn't come in? Or were these all pretty hard?
That's what you asked
Yeah.
Kelly.
Okay. That's right, for you might not be able to.
Mhm.
Either way, it's good to put money back in.
Absolutely. So that was the highlight really from the whole thing that I got out of there. I think it was a favorable audit. There were some questions, I guess, for the Board of Education, because they were still working through the audit process with the auditor. And I'm sure we'll hear more of that from, I was not able to attend the other night. If you don't mind, you were able to attend the meeting the other night?
Board of Finance?
Yeah. And so he ran through that entire process, and it seemed to be fairly favorable. The single state audit is still being processed, it's just about completed, but there was some notation about, from the Board of Education.
Board of Ed, right.
Yeah,
Which, of course, seems to happen on an annual basis. There's usually some discrepancy, it's off by a certain amount of money, and they just got to figure out how to reconcile it.
Well,
mostly cash.
he said they had troubles finding, but they did
They did.
reconcile, but they had trouble finding it, so next year, they're gonna work that out,
Yeah.
because I was there also.
I was hoping that they would have considered different venues to, in other words, Ron is retiring, and they're already out there looking for somebody else right now. I had recommended a way to streamline it and save some money by having Kelly do both, as other towns do. They've decided against that, and so now what they're having is Ron will be training somebody else. So we'll see if there's a change. We'll see if, but these same notations are done every year. So it seems to be repetitive pattern. But we'll hear more about that at the night of the annual town meeting. So with your blessings, I would entertain a motion to have the Board of Selectmen set the annual town meeting date to be Monday, January 9th at 6 p.m. in the auditorium.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. There's one date that I wanted to talk about on item number 5, discuss and act on the modifications to the Board of Selectmen 2023 regular meeting dates. Whoops,
I was kind of laughing at this because you did such a thorough job.
Yeah.
I never really checked them, so.
So there's one date out there that we have to modify, and I think we should keep the calendar in there from now on, just to make sure in case we have to change it of any type. But yeah, there was that one date. You'll note there that the 24th is a Tuesday, so with your blessings, we could modify it to make October 23rd. 23rd, yeah. October 23rd, we October 23rd until the 24th. Yep.
I'll make a motion to modify our Board of Selectmen 2023 regular meeting date to change the 24th of October to the 23rd of October.
Okay. We have a second. Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the last item on the agenda was discuss and act on town ordinance 121 for the appointment of an assistant town clerk to be hired. You'll note I just gave you the resume / bio information for Melissa Bradley. This is the 121 is the ordinance talking about the town clerk having powers and duties as prescribed by, with the approval of the Board of Selectmen to appoint the town assistant town clerks who have taken the oath, provided the town clerk shall be in absence of inability to the town clerk, and have all the powers to perform all the duties of the town clerk. We were, I won't say fortunate, but we were kind of fortunate with the fact that we just gone through a round of interviews. And so we had a lot of resumes. We still put it out there. We had a couple other people who applied, we had some interview process, and we still have come up with the same person as our next in line. So this is the town clerk, her review and her choice, so that's why 121 is in play. And you'll note the address. So she was like,
Right next door.
can't get too much
That's
closer.
a long commute, I don't
Yeah.
know, is she gonna be okay with that?
Yeah, really.
Wow.
I got one question. Were you involved in the interview?
Yep.
Why did she leave the town of Brooklyn? Do you know?
Part of it is,
Because if she was assistant to the first selectman, she must have been making more money than an assistant town clerk.
it was pretty close.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. Pretty much there.
a little different because it's smaller,
Yeah.
much smaller community.
So it's a better opportunity. Obviously closer.
Right, and it's really
She can walk.
something she really likes doing, so.
Yeah, it seems that way, yeah.
So we have to,
I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of Melissa J. Bradley for assistant town clerk.
Second?
thank you very much. All in favor, say aye.
All right?
Aye. So she is, just to be, she has to train whoever it is coming in. She's already started that process. She said if it would be possible to have her start February, first week of February, which we said it was really no problem. We're able to handle it right now. We also have Cindy as a backup if we ever really need
Yeah, I
it.
saw that.
Yeah.
I saw she signed something like that.
So it's been working out so far, and that's why she was a willing candidate, and we were good with that.
Did I ask why Bianca left?
She actually went to a job in the state, so
Oh, okay.
better
She's working
benefits,
for the
better
state,
pay.
yeah.
We don't have anything else for other than the fact that I've received many emails, text messages, and phone calls about how the roads have some icing areas. So the highway department is working on those first thing in the morning. We do have one up on Lori Drive, which is a little more because it's some forcing water out of the basement onto the road.
I saw that.
So we're going to work with them. I know the
That's the
problem.
one right here?
No, Lori is up
Oh,
on.
did you see the one right here?
Yeah, I've seen them all.
Yeah, that's
They're all
bad.
bad. They're all bad. They're all, those
That's the one I
ones
was-
is over Pratt. Pratt area has one. Laser has one.
Shepherd Hill.
The one up Shepherd Hill is Lori Drive.
Okay, there's
Yeah.
one on the other side of Shepherd Hill too.
I went down East Shepherd Hill. It was okay.
Yeah, no, Shepherd Hill did.
There's a bunch.
Right.
And the problems are that, well, obviously this froze so fast that it just continued to flow. But that one is a man-made one. It's forcing it out.
Hmm.
When someone talked about ordinance 48, we might want to take a look at ordinance 48 because the way it's worded,
No discharge onto the roads.
well, I think you need to take a look at the beginning of 48
Yeah, okay.
because it talks about inappropriate material being passed out,
Mm-hmm.
and then it blends right into you shouldn't force water onto a road so you don't quite match. We'll take a look at it. But anyways, we will be working with this person. That area up off of behind Shepherd Hill, the development, I'll just politely say, was never done properly. We've had a few of those in our town. Off of Cemetery Road has those 3 roads up there, which were never developed properly for water drainage
Mm-hmm.
and runoff.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing is said to the area up on behind Shepherd Hill, because if they had all had something where they could have tied into the town's system, we'd be fine, but they weren't, so now we have the issue of how do they get there. And one guy is actually putting water into the roadway, so we're gonna stop that. And this is not a good time to do it. So working on those things tomorrow, hopefully we'll resolve this. And with that,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
7:20. Thank you.